Hi everyone, welcome to Veronika Hack. Today I have a really interesting new and relevant project. So we're doing a winter hat. So first I'll move the needles out of the way and the two blue spools. So I'll be doing it in gray this time, the stone gray, so the cherry collection this time. And I decided to call this hat Hope because of all of the coronavirus chaos going on. And I've been thinking about all of the people that have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks until they are checked for it and hopefully let to go home safely and healthily. So those people have been on my mind a lot. And I know that 2 weeks are a really long time, especially if you have to stay in one space for the whole duration of it. So actually there is a center for that close to where I live, and I was thinking about all those people that came back from China and have to stay there. I decided to do a care package for them, so we delivered that, some wool, some needles and crocheting needles, so maybe someone there can pass the time a little bit more quickly by crocheting or learning how to crochet or knit. So that's why I call today's project Hope. I know that 14 days can seem like a really long time, and I hope everyone gets out after those 14 days healthily and safely, and that you can return to your homes. So this project has kind of that as a background and inspiration. It's also going to be a really simple project, and yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy it and feel free to participate even if you're not one of those people that are in quarantine. So anyway, we need to start stitches on our needles. So I have here my 3.5mm needles with a line in between. So I'll leave about 1 meter or 1 yard of length before I start the stitches. So for that, we're gonna need our left hand first. And this is not difficult as long as you pay attention. So take your yarn first between your pinky and your ring finger. Then you go to your index finger and go around it, and then around your thumb as well. And hold it again with your ring finger and pinky, the middle finger too actually. Thumb and index finger are holding the thread, the 3 remaining fingers are holding the end of it. Now take one needle and now take a look at your thumb and go through this side here, and then take the thread and pull it through the loop. Take the thumb out, and that's how you started your first stitch. Then again, take your thumb and go under these two, so under the triangle. And then repeat the same step. So needle under the thread that's at the thumb, take through and let the loop go and pull. And start again. So I'll do it slowly so that you guys can follow too. So this is really easy. After you do a couple of these, it's actually something you don't even think about, but I'm showing this for complete beginners, so if you want to learn, you can as well. So that's how you start your stitches in knitting projects. I'll show you how to do a women's size, but I make sure to mention how many stitches you do for a men's and children's size. So in case this is a bit intimidating, make sure to comment below and let me know so that I can see how I can help and maybe explain this a little bit easier, make it a little bit easier for you. So we need to count our stitches, so the number matters, and let's see, I have here 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 stitches, and I'll do a total of 50 stitches for a winter hat. So that's about 25 centimeters of total length. That's my main goal, so to speak. Of course, you can try this out, do about 25 stitches and then take your measuring tape and see how many stitches you do in 10 centimeters. That's actually what you want. So I have here 10 centimeters and 20 stitches, and since my hat should be 25 centimeters tall, or should be in the end, I'll adjust proportionally and I'll do 50 stitches to get to the 25 centimeters of length that I want. So you may need to calculate a little bit, but it's just fine in the end. So instead of doing it in rounds, I'll make it even simpler. So we will close the round up when we're done and it will be super easy to do. I'll show you when we get to there. So anyway, we have 11 stitches for now, which means we need to get to our final number of 50. So let's do that and then we can meet again. So feel free to watch and repeat after me or do it on your own if you feel confident enough. "30 stitches, "40, Okay, 50 stitches, so I don't have a lot of my beginning thread left over, and I have my total of 50 stitches. So you can do 4 stitches more or 2 centimeters more in the final length of your stitches. For a kid's size, you can do 40 stitches and it will be just fine. And you can even do infant sizes with a little bit under 40, so not too far from that number, but you can check that with your baby and see what number fits best. Anyway, I'll show you the stitches in the first row and how we do them. So since I already mentioned, I want to do this for complete beginners as well. So it is going to be a very, very simple project, which means everybody can participate and try it out. So the first row is actually going to show you how to do all of the stitches that we're going to do. So it's going to be as simple as it can possibly be. So yeah, let's get started. The first stitch we just transfer to the other needle, and the next one we do knitwise, which means that you go into the stitch this way, you take the thread through and pull it through, and that's a knit stitch. I'll repeat and you can do the same with me. So it's gonna be pretty much the whole deal for the whole row, and I'll just show you how to end. So it's all just knit stitches. So the first row might be a bit trickier if you don't have too much experience. So the first row always has a little bit of tension, or not tension, but the stitches are a bit tighter at the beginning. So don't get scared, just make sure you don't give up. It's gonna get a lot easier after that. So even if you're a little bit insecure, you can ask someone who knows how to do that to start for you, because after you start, it gets a lot easier to do the other stitches. Here, the edge stitch, we also do knitwise, and we turn. And now we do the same as before. So the first needle we just transfer to our empty working needle in our right hand, and then you put the thread to the back of the needle and you do knit stitches again. So same deal as before. And it's highly probable that it gets even easier now, so it doesn't really take long to get used to it. So when you do knit stitches in the front and the back row, you get something that's called a garter stitch. I like the meditative effect of knitting, so you can definitely watch TV or have a chat with someone while doing this. You can meditate on your own and just knit, especially with such an easy pattern like I'm showing you now. So you can relax and knit while spending time with someone or by yourself, but in a lovely, calm, relaxed atmosphere. Okay, turn, and we can continue in the same manner. Every row builds a new rib and 2 times on the back. So this is gonna be the rib we're doing now, and then afterwards will come another one and so on. And now starts the section where you need a little bit of patience, so you should keep doing this until you have 5 centimeters less than what you plan. So if you're doing the same size as I am, a regular length we want for that size is 54 centimeters, which means we would stop at 49 so that we can finish that. So that's exactly what I will do. So usually I would skip the middle part, and I would now already show you how to cast off and basically skip the end. But this time I want to show you the whole process. So I will keep working on this until I have the length that I just mentioned. So the 49 centimeters in my case, and then I will show you how to get on from there. So have a lot of fun in between. Make sure to tune in as soon as you're at the step where you have the last 5 centimeters left to do. And if you're one of those people who really are in quarantine, I wish you good health, fast 2 weeks, and a safe return to your home. Okay, so I'll show you how to start the second spool. So we are changing the thread. The old one is finished, and now I'll show you a really easy way how you can do this and also make it invisible later. So it's a really cool trick for everyone. So you can take the thread and put it to the side. Edge stitch, and we transfer that, so we just continue with the new thread as if it were the same one all along. The ends here we will weave in together in the end, and yeah, the edge here is going to be pulled together so you won't see that in the end at all. So after the first spool, let's see. I have 32 centimeters, so 17 more is what I need. So after a bit, I finished this section. It took a while, so when you stretch it out nicely, it's 49 centimeters long, so 5 centimeters less than what I need. And it seems so long already, but we are already at the point where we should cast this off. Begin on this side where you change the thread. That way you can put the hat together so that you hide these two that are sticking out. So if you've seen my other videos, you can notice that I'm not the biggest fan of weaving in at the end, and I try to do it while I'm working on the project so that I don't have to do it in the end as an extra step. So it's a really cool way to basically skip one step. So let's start. First one we transfer, the next one we do knitwise, and with our left needle we take the first stitch and pull it over the second one. That's the first one now, and now we just repeat the same step. So it's always the first stitch over the second. Knitwise, just like so far, and pull over. Make sure it's not having any tension going on anywhere. If you do notice that happening, you can pull that last section apart and start again, and then pull the stitch freely as you do it. So don't be afraid to do that. And then continue that way. So it's really important that your end isn't pulling together in a weird way that would really mess up the pattern and its symmetry. So you will keep casting off till you finish all of this, and then all that is left is to put it together in a hat, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so I'm finishing my last stitches. And now I'll cut the thread off, but I'll leave about 80 centimeters of length. or a bit under a yard. So I'm taking a darning needle so that we can weave in. It's a really great tool. And pull the stitch tight like this, and that way you're done and you can't pull the stitches apart anymore. Okay, so now we have our threads here, so I'll cut it short. I'll do a knot just to make sure it's gonna stay this way. So this thread I can weave in like this with my darning needle again, and then they will become invisible. Okay, so now we're leaving this on the inside. So we're folding the whole thing in half so that your threads are on the outside. You can take our darning needle and connect the two sides. Through the one stitch and then through the other, so both sides this time. And you just keep going there and back. There is a special stitch you can do here if you'd like. Feel free to check out my channel to see how you can do that as well. This time I'm gonna do this really simply, and I'm gonna make it a lot easier so that everybody can participate and try it out, even if you don't have a ton of experience, or even if you're trying this out for the very first time. So that's why we're doing it simpler, but if you want a little bit more complicated version that maybe isn't as visible, feel free to check out my channel. So you can pull the thread and make sure there aren't any tense parts, so make sure you always check for that on the outside as well. And yeah, you can finish this till the end and then just take care that you're staying parallel. And that's pretty much it. So just do this step and then I'll show you how to do the very last connecting of the top. So I'm almost done with my stitches. Now I'll do my last 3 ones. And now we go twice and 3 times total through our last stitch. So now we can turn the hat inside out, or actually the right way around. The stitch is almost invisible, and now we just need to put this top section together. So let's start on the outside, and we will go through each 3rd stitch with our needle. 1, then we skip 2, and into the next one we go in, and we again skip 2, and we just keep going like that. and the pulling we will do at the very end. So I did this knot where the threads change so that it doesn't fall apart when we do this step here. And always keep 2 in between. You can go through the rib, so in this one and then the third from there and so on. If you don't like what the edge stitch looks like, if you're a beginner, they might be a bit looser than what you like. So there is a way to fix that, and you would just go through the actual rib itself instead of the top section of it. So just through the rib. Okay, I'm at the round end, so I'm going one more time through the first stitch and then I'll pull it tight. And then I'll again go with my needle through the stitches, so I will just follow the thread this time. So you see that it's super easy to do, plus when you weave in your other end thread, there will be no opening visible on top. Okay, I lost my yarn. So you can just weave in through the top section. And then to the inside so that you can hide the thread. One more time on the inside. And that's it. So here is our hat called Hope. So if you would like to do a pom-pom or anything on top, you would have the extra wool that you need for that. And all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to shoot a thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you liked the instructions and you found them easy even if you're a beginner. So feel free to let me know about that in the comments section as well. I also hope that you all stay healthy, so if you do end up participating in my project, feel free to send a photo of what your hat turned out like, or any other project you might do for that matter. So especially if you're in the quarantine yourself, I wish you good health, I wish you fast 2 weeks, and that you get home as soon as possible, and of course as healthy as possible. Also, let me know if you want the stitch and row numbers for different sizes.